Men over 60, if you have been waking up exhausted, struggling to perform in the bedroom, and feeling your strength and masculinity slipping away day after day, listen carefully. The decline you are experiencing is not normal aging, and it is not your fault. It is a biological collapse happening inside your body every night, silently stealing your energy, your confidence, and your ability to feel like a man. I have spoken with countless men who tell me the same painful truth. They sleep for hours, yet wake up drained. Their erections are weaker or gone completely. Their desire fades. Their minds feel foggy. Their bodies feel heavy. And they feel disconnected from the man they once were. They blame age, bad luck, or stress. But they are wrong. The real enemy is a hidden deficiency that almost no doctor talks about. The nightly loss of magnesium, the master mineral that controls deep sleep, testosterone repair, and blood flow. Without it, the male body cannot recover, cannot restore potency, and cannot create the blood circulation needed for strong erections. But here is the breakthrough. There is a way to dramatically improve energy, vigor, and circulation in as little as 24 hours simply by restoring the right form of magnesium at night. And this comes from someone who has spent more than 30 years restoring men's health across America. My name is Dr. Mika Hayashi. Before we continue, if you find this message speaking to your reality, take a moment to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another life-changing lesson for men over 60. And tell me in the comments with a simple 1 or 0 if this resonates with you. Now, stay with me because what you're about to learn may be the turning point that restores your sleep, your strength, and your confidence. Let's begin. 1. The common reality men over 60 are facing today. There is a moment in a man's life when he wakes up one day and realizes something has changed and he can't explain when it started. He looks in the mirror and sees the same face, but something behind the eyes feels different. The strength that once defined him is harder to find. The energy that carried him through long work days and late nights has faded into a constant feeling of heaviness. And perhaps the most silent pain of all is the private battle happening behind closed doors, where intimacy becomes unpredictable, uncertain, and sometimes impossible. Many men tell themselves it is just stress, or just aging, or just life moving forward. They try to stay positive. They try to push through, but deep down, they feel a quiet fear that they cannot speak out loud. What if this is the beginning of the end of the man I used to be? I have spoken to husbands who love their wives deeply, yet avoid intimacy because they are afraid of failing. Grandfathers who pretend to be tired simply to hide that their bodies no longer respond the way they did. Veterans who once felt powerful and unstoppable, now unable to climb a flight of stairs without feeling winded. Men who once commanded respect and strength, now struggling with sleepless nights, early morning exhaustion, irritability they cannot control, and a sense of fading purpose. These men don't want pity. They want answers. They want to fight. They want to win back control of their bodies and their lives. And they feel trapped in silence, believing they must endure decline because society tells them that suffering is simply what it means to grow old. But that belief is the real tragedy, because nothing could be further from the truth. The real reason so many men over 60 feel like they are losing themselves has nothing to do with age and everything to do with what is happening inside the body at night. A breakdown in the very system responsible for rebuilding strength, restoring hormones, repairing tissues, and fueling blood flow. When that system fails, sleep becomes shallow. Energy disappears, intimacy collapses, and mornings feel like a battle before the day has even begun. And millions of men are living through this crisis silently, believing they must accept it as their new reality, when in fact, they don't. Because the most painful part is not the physical struggle, it is the emotional weight. The frustration of feeling like you are trying harder than ever yet, falling further behind. The confusion of not knowing where your strength went. The embarrassment of seeing disappointment or worry in your partner's eyes. The loneliness of pretending everything is fine when you know it isn't. And the fear that no one understands what is happening inside your body. But what if just one change, something surprisingly simple and completely natural, could turn the tide? What if the reason your body feels broken is because it is missing a single key that should be present every night but no longer is? And what if restoring that key could bring back the vitality, confidence, and power you thought you had lost for good? If that idea feels impossible, I want you to stay with me because in the next section, we are going to expose the real hidden cause behind this silent crisis destroying men's lives after 60 and why almost no doctor ever talks about it. Let's go deeper. 2. The hidden cause nobody is talking about. What if everything you've been told about aging is wrong? What if the exhaustion, the fading strength, the restless nights, and the loss of intimacy that so many men over 60 experience are not signs of the body wearing out, but signs of the body starving? Most men believe their decline is unavoidable, that nature has decided their best years are behind them. But the real truth is far more shocking. What feels like aging is for countless men actually the result of a deep internal deficiency that is quietly shutting down the systems responsible for vitality, sleep, testosterone, and circulation. And almost no one is talking about it. Inside every healthy man, there is a nightly process of restoration that takes place while he sleeps. It is the time when hormones rebalance, cells repair, inflammation reduces, and blood vessels expand to deliver oxygen and nutrients. It is the engine room where masculinity is rebuilt. But when the body lacks the resources it needs to perform this recovery, the system crashes. The nervous system becomes overstimulated. The body stays trapped in fight or flight mode. Sleep becomes shallow and fragmented. Testosterone production collapses and blood flow weakens. The result is a man who wakes up tired, struggles through the day, and feels less and less like the man he once was. The tragedy is that men blame themselves. They think they're weak. They think they're failing. They think their time has passed. They try exercising harder, pushing themselves further, or forcing intimacy only to be left with disappointment and confusion. I have listened to husbands who feel ashamed to look their wives in the eyes. Men who built companies, fought wars, raised families, and carried more weight than most people will ever understand, yet now feel powerless inside their own bodies. And it is breaking them emotionally. Some confess that they avoid mirrors because they don't want to see the man they are becoming. Others avoid bedtime knowing the night will bring another battle they cannot win. But here is the most painful part. None of this is their fault. Their bodies are not failing. They are missing something essential, something they once had in abundance but lost slowly and silently with time. Because as the years go by, men are robbed of a crucial mineral that controls every part of the recovery process. Modern food no longer contains what it once did. The digestive system loses its ability to absorb what the body needs. And without this key building block, the repair mechanism shuts down. Energy, drive, sleep, potency, passion, everything begins to crumble. If you have felt like you are fading no matter how hard you fight, there is a reason. If you have wondered why nothing seems to work anymore, there is an explanation. And if you have feared that decline is unavoidable, it is time to hear the truth. A single missing mineral may be the cause of everything you are experiencing, and restoring it may unlock a transformation you thought was impossible. In the next section, you will discover why this mineral is the master switch of male vitality and how restoring it can breathe life back into your body in ways you may not believe until you feel it for yourself. Stay with me. 3. The essential role of magnesium for men over 60. Imagine discovering that the very mineral responsible for rebuilding your strength, restoring your masculinity, and fueling your blood flow has been disappearing from your body year after year without a single warning. Most men have no idea that one mineral controls more than 300 biological processes required for energy, sleep, testosterone, and circulation. And yet, it is the mineral almost every man over 60 is dangerously low in. That mineral is magnesium, and its absence may be the single most powerful reason why so many men feel like their bodies are shutting down. Magnesium is not just another supplement. It is the master spark that turns on the male repair system each night. It is the ignition switch that activates deep restorative sleep where hormones are rebuilt and tissues are repaired. It is the force that relaxes blood vessels, allowing oxygen-rich blood to flow freely through the body, especially to the areas that define a man's confidence. Magnesium calms the nervous system, quiets the racing mind, lowers inflammation, supports heart function, balances mood, and fuels the production of natural testosterone. Without it, the body becomes locked in tension. Stress hormones surge, muscles tighten, blood flow weakens, and sleep turns into a shallow cycle where nothing is repaired. And the result is the same outcome that millions of men are experiencing right now. Mornings without energy, days filled with fatigue, and nights filled with quiet frustration. Most men do not realize that strong erections are not about luck or even desire. They are about blood flow, and blood flow is controlled by magnesium. When magnesium is present, blood vessels open like a freeway. When magnesium is gone, they constrict like a traffic jam. That is why men who restore magnesium begin to feel something they thought they had lost forever. Spontaneous morning erections returning with strength and confidence. It is why their energy no longer collapses halfway through the day. It is why their mood stabilizes and their minds feel clear instead of foggy. And it is why intimacy stops being a source of pressure and becomes something natural again. I have watched men who felt defeated for years transform in a matter of days. Men who thought their marriages were falling apart suddenly reconnect with their partners. Men who believed they were too old to change discover a new fire inside themselves. All because they finally gave their body the raw material it needed to repair and rebuild. That is the power of restoring magnesium. It does not force the body. It frees the body to perform the way it was designed to. So the real question becomes simple and urgent. If magnesium is so essential, why are almost all older men deficient in it? And how does that deficiency quietly destroy sleep, testosterone, and intimate performance without being detected until it is nearly too late? In the next section, I will show you the unmistakable warning signs your body is giving you right now and how to recognize them before the damage goes any further. Stay with me. 4. The clear signs of magnesium deficiency. What if the symptoms you've been ignoring, symptoms you thought were unrelated or simply part of getting older, were actually your body crying out for help? What if the exhaustion, the nighttime bathroom trips, the muscle tension, the anxiety, the fading erections, and the broken sleep were not random at all, but warning signals flashing like red lights on a dashboard, desperately trying to get your attention, because that is exactly what they are. The body never fails without first whispering, then speaking, then screaming. And millions of men over 60 are living through those screams every single night without understanding what they mean. Men tell me their stories with heavy shoulders and tired eyes. They say they lie in bed for hours, unable to fall asleep because their heart feels like it is pounding through their chest. Others describe waking suddenly at 2 or 3 in the morning, restless and uneasy, unable to return to sleep no matter how exhausted they feel. Some talk about legs that twitch, cramp, or feel like electricity running underneath the skin. Others describe a quiet shame, walking to the bathroom again and again throughout the night, breaking sleep into pieces until morning arrives like punishment instead of relief. Many describe a mind that won't turn off, worries that won't quiet down, and a constant tension that makes them feel like they are never truly resting. And then there is the symptom most men carry in silence, the weakening of morning erections. The change is subtle at first. They notice they are less frequent. Then they stop appearing completely. And with that loss comes an emotional weight few people understand. A fear that something essential has disappeared forever. Men tell me they feel disconnected from their bodies, disconnected from intimacy, disconnected from themselves. They feel the heartbreak of watching their confidence fade and the confusion of wondering why everything they try makes no difference. But the truth is painfully simple. These symptoms are not separate. They are connected by one cause. When magnesium levels fall, the nervous system becomes overstimulated, sleep becomes shallow, muscles tighten, blood vessels constrict, and inflammation spreads silently through the body. Testosterone drops, blood flow weakens, the body stops repairing itself at night, and what used to be automatic now becomes a struggle. You do not wake refreshed because the restoration process never happened. You do not feel desire because your hormones are not being rebuilt. You do not perform intimately because the circulation system is offline. If you recognize yourself in these words, if even 2 or 3 of these signs feel familiar, your body is not betraying you. It is begging you to listen. It is telling you that something essential is missing, something it cannot function without. And until that need is met, nothing will change. But with the right support, everything can. So the question becomes urgent. If magnesium deficiency is destroying sleep, vitality, and blood flow, what is the fastest and most powerful way to restore it? And which form of magnesium can rebuild your strength and performance with remarkable speed? In the next section, we will uncover the specific form proven to transform men's health from the inside out. Stay with me. 5. Magnesium glycinate. What if I told you that the reason so many men over 60 continue to struggle even after trying pills, diets, exercise routines, and endless medical advice is because they have never been given the right form of magnesium? Not all magnesium is the same. And this single misunderstanding has left countless men suffering for years, believing nothing will ever change. But there is one form that stands above all the rest. One form that has helped men reclaim the sleep, strength, and intimacy they thought were gone forever. That form is magnesium glycinate. And for thousands of men I have worked with, discovering it has been nothing short of life-changing. Magnesium glycinate is not just another supplement on a pharmacy shelf. It is a deeply calming, highly absorbable form of magnesium designed to be taken at night, created specifically to restore the body's natural ability to repair itself while you sleep. Unlike cheaper forms that pass through the body without benefit, glycinate binds to the amino acid glycine, which allows it to enter the nervous system quickly and begin relaxing the body at the deepest level. It unlocks the parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for rest, healing, and growth. This is the mode most older men never enter anymore. They lie in bed with their eyes closed, but their nervous system is trapped in fight or flight, unable to shut down. And without activation of that repair mode, the night becomes an empty shell where nothing is rebuilt. When magnesium glycinate enters the bloodstream, something remarkable happens. Muscles release the tension they have been holding for years. The heart rate slows naturally. The mind stops racing. Breathing deepens and the body slips into restorative sleep instead of restless drifting. In that sleep, testosterone begins to rise again. Inflammation decreases. Cellular repair accelerates, and the blood vessels that support erections begin to relax and expand. Many men are stunned to report that after years of disappointment, they begin waking up with morning erections again, strong, spontaneous, and natural. They feel a kind of relief that cannot be described, only felt, because it means something they thought was over is not over at all. I have listened to men sit across from me with tears in their eyes, talking about the moment they realized they were not broken. Men who had avoided intimacy, suddenly holding their wives again, with confidence instead of fear. Men who had forgotten what real rest felt like, waking up with clear minds and steady energy instead of dragging themselves out of bed feeling defeated. Men who thought they were reaching the end, discovering they were only beginning. Magnesium glycinate does not force artificial performance the way temporary pills do. It restores what the body was always capable of by giving it the raw material it needs to function the way nature intended. It rebuilds strength from the inside out, not by shortcut, but by renewal. But if glycinate is the form that restores the body, what about the mind? What about the men who cannot sleep because their thoughts will not stop or because they wake in the middle of the night with anxiety that refuses to let go? What about the mental exhaustion that steals peace as powerfully as physical fatigue steals strength? There is another form designed for exactly that challenge, and it is unlike anything most men have ever heard of. In the next section, we will uncover the breakthrough form of magnesium that reaches the brain directly and rewires the mind for deep, peaceful, uninterrupted sleep. Stay with me. 6. Magnesium threonate. What if the reason you cannot fall asleep, stay asleep, or quiet the storm of thoughts racing through your mind at 28 a.m. has nothing to do with stress, anxiety, or aging, but everything to do with a lack of magnesium reaching your brain? Most men assume sleeplessness is emotional. They blame worry, pressure, or the burdens they carry. But the real cause is far more physical and far more fixable. Without magnesium entering the brain, the neural pathways responsible for relaxation cannot function, leaving the mind trapped in a state of constant alarm. That is why so many older men describe feeling tired yet wired, exhausted yet unable to rest, mentally drained yet unable to stop thinking. They try calming teas, breathing exercises, meditation, even prescription sleep medications. But nothing fixes the root problem because the only solution is restoring magnesium to the brain itself. And only one form can do that: magnesium threonate. Magnesium threonate is unique because it is the only form scientifically shown to cross the blood-brain barrier, reaching the very center of the nervous system where thought, memory, stress response, and deep sleep are controlled. It does not sedate or knock you out. Instead, it restores calm from within, signaling the brain that it is safe to release tension and enter genuine rest. Men who use it describe something powerful: the first full night of sleep in years, the first morning waking up without mental fog, the first day without that heavy feeling behind the eyes. For many, it is the first time their mind has been quiet enough to hear their own thoughts, without panic or noise. In my work with older men, I have seen transformations that would sound unbelievable if I had not witnessed them myself. Men who spent years waking up every night at the same hour, suddenly sleeping through until morning. Men who once felt overwhelmed by even simple tasks becoming focused, sharp, and steady again. Men who thought their memory was fading, realizing it wasn't age, it was exhaustion. And perhaps most moving of all, men who rediscovered peace. The kind of peace that allows them to close their eyes and drift off without fighting. The kind of peace that lets them breathe slowly, deeply, fully. The kind of peace that reconnects them to themselves. When both magnesium glycinate and magnesium threonate work together, the body and mind finally align. The body enters deep restorative sleep. The brain relaxes. Blood vessels open. Testosterone rises. And for the first time in years, men wake up feeling alive instead of defeated. This is not a miracle. It is the biology of a healthy male body finally restored. And yet, even with all the power these forms hold, most men never experience their benefits because of a single mistake that destroys their progress before it begins. A mistake so common and so costly that it can erase every possible improvement. In the next section, we will uncover that mistake and show you exactly how to avoid it so you can unlock the full transformation your body is waiting for. Stay with me. 7. Dosage and timing. What if the difference between waking up exhausted and waking up full of strength came down to just 30 to 60 minutes at night? What if the results men spend years searching for deeper sleep, restored energy, stronger erections, and steady confidence were not months away, but days away, simply waiting for the right timing and the right dose? Most men who try magnesium fail not because magnesium does not work, but because they take it the wrong way, at the wrong hour, or in the wrong amount. They treat it casually, like any other supplement, and in doing so they miss the moment when the male body is most ready to rebuild itself. But timing is everything, and the nighttime window is sacred. Inside the human body, there is a powerful biological rhythm, a natural clock wired into every cell. At night, specifically in the hour before sleep, the nervous system prepares to switch from fight or flight mode into repair mode. It is the 1 hour of the day when the body is ready to receive magnesium and convert it into deep recovery, rebuilding testosterone levels, repairing damaged tissues, opening blood vessels, and restoring calm to the brain. If magnesium arrives too early, the body is not ready to use it. If it arrives too late, the window has already closed. But when it arrives exactly 30 to 60 minutes before bed, something remarkable happens. Sleep becomes easier. Muscles relax. Breathing deepens, and the body begins repairing itself as if someone flipped a master switch. Men are often stunned by how quickly they feel the difference. In just 3 to 5 nights, sleep becomes heavier, bathroom trips decrease, and mornings bring a sense of clarity rather than confusion. After a week, energy returns, and the fog lifts. And by the end of 2 weeks, men often report something they thought was gone forever. Natural, spontaneous morning erections that arrive with strength and confidence instead of fear and frustration. This is not an accident. It is biology operating exactly as it was designed. The dosing itself is simple but must be respected. Magnesium glycinate should be taken in the range of 200 to 400 mg per night, depending on the individual. Magnesium threonate, for those who struggle with racing thoughts or early waking, is most effective at 1 to 2 grams of powder, providing roughly 144 mg of elemental magnesium. The key is consistency. Start with the lower dose for several nights. Allow the body to adapt, then slowly increase. Combine it with warm water or chamomile tea. Dim the lights. Step away from phones and screens and allow the body to transition into stillness. This ritual alone can feel like medicine. The men who experience the most dramatic transformations are not the strongest or the luckiest. They are the men who commit night after night without skipping until the body rebuilds its reserves. Because magnesium works cumulatively. Miss one night and the body holds steady. Miss several nights and the progress collapses. Those who stay consistent often describe the feeling as waking up inside a different life, one where they no longer dread the bedroom or the morning mirror. But if timing and dosage are the key to transformation, there is one final obstacle standing in the way, one mistake that destroys more progress than anything else. It is the trap that causes most men to fail before they even begin. And if you do not know what it is, you are in danger of repeating it. In the next section, we will reveal the costly errors that steal results and how to avoid them completely. Stay with me. 8. The most common and costly mistakes men make. What if I told you that most men who try magnesium fail before they ever have a chance to experience its real power? Not because it doesn't work, but because they unknowingly sabotaged the process.